everyone. I'm Miss Sarah, and this is Sharpsburg Story Stream. Whether you're a friend who normally comes to the library for story time or someone who's just discovered us via our online content, I know we're going to have a lot of fun together today. Since I don't know which of my friends at home are watching, our hello song will not include anyone's name. It's to the same tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. For the first verse, let's clap our hands. If you want to read a book, clap your hands. If you want to read a book, clap your hands. If you want to read a book, sit down and take a look. If you want to read a book, clap your hands. Let's stomp our feet. If you want to read a book, stomp your feet. If you want to read a book, stomp your feet. If you want to read a book, sit down and take a look. If you want to read a book, stomp your feet. Let's wave our arms. If you want to read a book, wave your arms. If you want to read a book, wave your arms. If you want to read a book, sit down and take a look. If you want to read a book, wave your arms. Let's find our chair. If you want to read a book, find your chair. If you want to read a book, find your chair. If you want to read a book, sit down and take a look. If you want to read a book, find your chair. How is everyone today? It's been a few weeks. I hope you all enjoyed the end of your summer and have had a safe and fun transition to going back to school, whether you're attending in person or online or a mixture of the two. I hope this is a great school year for you. Our story today is going to be about a boy and his grandfather, because this week is National Grandparents' Day. So maybe you have a grandfather or a grandmother or several, or maybe you have a grand friend, an older person in your neighborhood who hangs out with you. So whatever type of grandparent or grandfriend you have, I hope you take some time this week to call them or join them on a Zoom chat and let them know how much you appreciate having them in your life, like the boy and his grandfather in today's story. Our story is called Grandpa's Top Threes. It is words by Wendy Medor and pictures by Daniel Ignaeus. It is read with permission of Candlewick Press. Henry was talking, but Grandpa was gardening again. Henry went to find Mom. "Why is Grandpa always gardening?" he asked. "Just give him time," said Mom. "Do you think Grandpa likes to garden?" "It's something he does a lot, so maybe." "Let's keep reading and find out." So Henry gave Grandpa 6.5 minutes. "Grandpa, will you come and play trains with me, please?" But Grandpa didn't hear. "Grandpa's ears aren't working," said Henry. Mom sighed. "Ask him if he'd like a sandwich." "Grandpa, would you like a sandwich?" yelled Henry. Grandpa made a little grunty noise. "Oh!" So Henry tried again. "Grandpa, what are your top 3 sandwiches?" Grandpa said nothing. "Mine are chocolate spread, raspberry jam, and butter with grated cheese," said Henry. Grandpa looked at Henry and sighed. "Tuna fish," he said. Henry grinned. "Well, what about second and third place?" he asked. "Egg salad." "Beetroot," said Grandpa. Henry ran off to make Grandpa's top threes. Henry and Grandpa ate their top threes by the pond. "Grandpa, what are your top 3 jellyfish?" asked Henry. Grandpa was quiet. "Mine are moon jellyfish, the upside down jellyfish, and the one that looks like a lion's mane," said Henry. Grandpa licked the beetroot off his fingers. "Box jellyfish,"
compass, jellyfish. Portuguese man of war, he said.
After lunch, Grandpa watched as Henry drew his top free jellyfish at the kitchen table. Then Grandpa joined in and played with Henry's top free trains. "Thank you for not gardening," said Henry. Grandpa ruffled Henry's hair. What does Henry mean, thanking his grandpa for not gardening? Oh, because they got to spend the day together? And Henry was glad to spend time with his grandpa instead of gardening. I like spending time with the people in my life, too. Let's turn the page and see what happens next. The next morning, Grandpa popped his head around Henry's door.
Top 3 days out?
He asked. Henry jumped out of bed. The zoo, the swimming pool, the park. Grandpa winked.
Better get dressed then, lad.
Henry and Grandpa went to the zoo. They went swimming, and they played on the swings. My top 3 animals were gorillas, hippos, and elephants, Henry said, beaming, very happy.
Penguins, lions, and giraffes, said Grandpa.
Grandpa and Henry smiled. That night, they got out Henry's telescope. It had been a present from Granny. Who are your top 3 grannies? Asked Henry. Grandpa didn't answer. Mine are Granny, who is dead, Granny Agnes, who lives on top of the shoe shop, and the Granny in Little Red Riding Hood. Grandpa took a deep breath.
Mine are Granny when she danced in the moonlight, Granny when she watered the roses, and Granny when she first held you.
I miss Granny, said Henry.
So do I, lad,
Grandpa sighed. Then Grandpa tucked Henry into bed. What were Granny's top 3 stars? Asked Henry. Grandpa smiled and kissed Henry's head.
That's easy, lad. Granny's top 3 stars were the sun, the North Star, and you.
The end. I'm glad that Henry was able to spend some really great quality time with his grandpa and learn a little bit more about the things that his grandpa likes at the same time. Do you have some top 3s? Maybe you have top 3 animals or top 3 sandwiches. Take some time this week and talk to your grown-ups and your grandparents or grandfriends and tell them what your top 3s are and find out what some of their top 3s are. Have some time to exchange some information with each other. Our song today is to the same tune of Did You Ever See a Lassie? We're going to do 3 verses, just like our top 3s. We're going to do a verse each for grandma, for grandfriend, and for granddad. So for each verse, we're going to do a different action. So our first verse is going to be for grandma. We're going to clap our hands. So the song's going to go, let's clap our hands for grandmas, for grandmas, for grandmas. Let's clap our hands for grandmas. Let's clap them this way. Clap this way and that way. Clap this way and that way. Let's clap our hands for grandmas. Let's clap them this way. So we'll do some different actions for our other grand identities, our grand people. And then we'll see what's next. Ready? So let's get our hands. We're going to sing to any grandma. So whether you call your grandma Grandma or Nana or Mimi or whatever else, this is going to be for that person or those people in your life. Ready? Let's clap our hands for grandmas, for grandmas, for grandmas. Let's clap our hands for grandmas. Let's clap them this way, and that way, clap this way and that way. Let's clap our hands for grandmas. Let's clap them this way. What should we do for our grand friends? We should sway in place? That's a great idea. Let's sway in place for grand friends, for grand friends, for grand friends. Let's sway in place for grand friends. Let's sway this way and that way, sway this way and that way. Let's sway in place for grand friends. Let's sway this way. What should we do for granddads? Or pop-pops? Whatever you might call them. Let's tap our head. That's a good idea. Let's tap our head for granddads, for granddads, for granddads. Let's tap our head for granddads. Let's tap it this way and that way, tap this way and that way. Let's tap our heads for granddads. Let's tap them this way. Of course, you can change the words to use whatever title, whatever name you use for your grandparents. If you have more than one set of grandparents, you can do an action for each one of those grandparents, or whatever, great aunts, great uncles, grand friends that you have in your family and your community. So you can keep the song going however long or however short is pertinent to you. So that's about all the time we have for today. I want to remind you that we do have some in-person socially distanced programs in our courtyard now, weather permitting. So every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. we have an in-person story time. And we also have some STEAM programming happening on Wednesday with Ms. Erin. We have mini makers for our preschool friends at 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday. And for our elementary age friends at 1:30 in the afternoon, we have a midweek maker program. It's for K through 5. So hopefully, if you are in the area, we will see you in person outside with your mask, hanging out and doing some fun programs with us again. You ready to sing the goodbye song? It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside, and when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll make a snappy new day. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you have that I'll be here when the week is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you want to talk about. I will too. I'll see you next week, friends. Stay safe and healthy.